Dude, holy shit. Did you see that?
For decades, people have reported unsettling encounters with a creature that's not supposed to exist. Some describe a hair-covered giant, others hear bone-rattling growls and inhuman footsteps in the dead of night. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, the stories you're about to hear will make you question what's really out there. Let's dive into 6 of the most terrifying Bigfoot sightings ever recorded.
Is that it for right now?
Deep in the rugged terrain of Idaho's Sawtooth Mountains, a man and a woman set out on a journey, one that would take them into the heart of one of the most mysterious and feared regions in the Pacific Northwest.
Here is some of the history that I dug up on Jarbidge and the Bigfoot phenomenon.
They had heard the stories, whispers of something lurking in the shadows, watching, waiting, but they wanted to see for themselves. The area they were heading toward was known as Garbage, a strange and remote stretch of land bordering the Sawtooths.
I knew when I heard about the 2014 Bigfoot sightings, I had to take a closer look at the history of this very remote forest on the south side of the Sawtooth Mountains.
It was here in 2014 that something was spotted, a figure too large to be human, too still to be an animal. As they made their way deeper into the wilderness, the dense canopy swallowed them whole. The wind howled through the trees, and every so often the silence was broken by the distant snap of a branch. Then, suddenly, the man stopped. "Did you see that?" he whispered. The woman followed his gaze toward the tree line. Something dark, motionless, yet unmistakably there. She squinted, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. "That's not a rock," she murmured. "It's sitting too still, watching." They locked their camera onto the figure, watching, waiting, hoping it would move. If it did, they would have their proof.
All right, I don't know what that is. Can you see it?
Yeah, you need to get out of the back door.
It's sitting there, but I don't know what it is.
The camera on him for a while.
"It's still there," the man muttered, adjusting the focus. The woman exhaled sharply. "I don't think it's going anywhere." The realization sank in. Whatever this was, it was aware of them. The camera lens struggled against the dimming light, but the figure remained. A dark silhouette against the thick trees, unmoving, watching back.
Let's see. I'll zoom out a little bit.
The man pointed toward a break in the trees. "Right there, do you see it?" The woman nodded slowly. "Yeah, it's blending in, but it's there." The tension was thick, the kind that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. They weren't alone. The woman adjusted the camera and gasped. "Zoom out! Look near that rock."
I can see it from here with my eyes, now that I'm looking at it.
And there it was, a large, dark figure just beyond the rock, hidden in the thick green foliage. It hadn't moved. It hadn't made a sound, but somehow they both knew. It knew they were there. The history of this place suddenly didn't feel like mere legend anymore. For centuries, stories of giant, shadowy beings roaming these mountains had been told. Now standing in the heart of this wilderness, those stories felt all too real. "I think we should go," the woman finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. The man hesitated for a moment longer before nodding. "Yeah, we've seen enough." They packed up quickly, the weight of what they had just witnessed settling over them. Was this Bigfoot? A trick of the light? Or something far older and far more dangerous than they had ever imagined? One thing was certain. Something was out there, watching, waiting. What do you think? Is Bigfoot hiding in the Rocky Mountains? Let us know in the comments. The search isn't over yet. Todd, standing, stood alone in front of the camera, the dim lighting casting shadows on his face. The air around him felt thick with tension, his eyes scanning the lens as if there were someone watching from just beyond the frame. He began with a low, serious tone, drawing his audience in. "This is it," he said. voice hushed, almost a whisper. What we've discovered could change everything.
Good day, everybody. My name is Todd. Thank you very much for tuning in to my Sasquatch Sunday video. So I've got still that major announcement for 2025 that's going to absolutely blow your mind.
Welcome to Sasquatch Sunday. You're about to see something that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Get ready. This is big. The forest behind him looked dense and mysterious, an eerie quiet settling in the air, as though the trees themselves were holding their breath. Todd turned his gaze from the camera and into the distance, as if recalling the long road that had led him to this moment. The search for Sasquatch isn't just a few days in the woods. It's more than that, much more. It's years of tracking, analyzing, and waiting, and after all this time, we might have something real, something tangible. We might have the proof we've all been waiting for. The camera cut to footage of the thick, mist-covered forest, the ground blanketed in fog. The low rustling of leaves added to the sense of unease. Something was lurking out there, and Todd knew it. He could feel it. The mood shifted as Todd spoke again, this time with a more urgent, intense edge. But none of this is possible without you. We need your support. Head over to my Patreon for exclusive access, photos, footage, the truth that the world is dying to see. You'll be the first to witness discoveries, to uncover secrets hidden deep in the wild. This is how we find Sasquatch. The screen flashed with quick, gripping cuts from previous expeditions. Night vision footage, glimpses of large footprints, and haunting shadows moving through the trees. The suspense was palpable. He leaned in closer, his voice soft, almost reverent. It's more than just a hunt. What you don't see, what you don't know, is that it's a fight against the unknown. Equipment failures, strange sounds, creatures that slip just out of sight. We've been on this journey for years, but there's something about this footage, something different. As he spoke, the camera panned slowly across the array of tools, tracking devices, high-powered cameras, and night vision goggles. A faint hum from the equipment resonated in the background, amplifying the unease. It wasn't just a documentary. This was a hunt for answers, and it was about to get real. Todd's eyes sharpened as he showed the latest footage. This, right here, is something you've got to hear, he whispered. Listen closely.
I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Bigger than me, whatever it is. Because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw.
The clip started, and immediately the eerie sound of snapping trees echoed through the speakers. The crack was sudden and loud, followed by the rustling of something moving swiftly through the woods.
Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down.
That's no bear, no moose, Todd said.
Something, oh my God, oh my God. I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades, and they're doing this.
Leaning closer to the camera, this is something far stronger, far more elusive. This could be it, Sasquatch. The sound of snapping branches hung in the air, leaving a chill that crept up the spine. Todd knew that sound all too well. It was real. It was close. With a deep breath, Todd shifted to the big reveal. But now, you're about to see the footage we've been keeping secret. It's raw, it's uncut, it could be the moment everything changes. He clicked a button on his remote, and the screen flashed to life. The image was blurry, almost indistinguishable at first, but then, just beyond the tree line, a shadow moved. A massive figure, far taller than any human, slipping through the tree. The footage was shaky, but it was there. Todd held his breath. Was this the creature he'd been hunting for? The world had always called it a myth, a legend, but now it was right in front of them. You think you've seen it all? You're wrong. Todd's voice was a low murmur filled with disbelief. This footage, this next clip, comes from Florida. Another sighting. It's quick, it's deliberate. But what is it? He clicked play, and the footage revealed another shadow moving through the trees. This time there was no question. It was bigger, faster, and more powerful than anything a human could be. The air felt thicker with each passing second as the figure vanished into the underbrush. Todd paused. Listen. Did you hear that? The sound of something heavy moving swiftly through the trees echoed through the footage, sending chills down anyone who was watching. The photograph, Todd said suddenly, his voice full of urgency. You've seen it online. The one that's been circulating. But is it real? Look at the hand, the proportions, the way it moves. Does this look like a man in a costume? Or is this the real deal? The photograph filled the screen, zooming in on the blurry figure, its massive hand reaching out, its eyes hidden in shadow. The viewer couldn't help but feel drawn into the mystery. Was it a hoax? Or had they finally caught Sasquatch on film? Todd exhaled slowly, staring into the camera. I don't know for sure, but we're closer than ever. This footage, Todd said, his voice barely above a whisper. This is it. This could be the proof we've all been waiting for. Watch carefully. What you're about to see, well, it could change everything. The camera zoomed in on a shadowy figure moving silently through the trees, its silhouette unmistakable. Todd's breath caught in his throat as the figure disappeared into the forest. This wasn't just a shadow, this was something real, something massive. Todd looked straight into the camera, his eyes intense. We're on the edge of something huge. Sasquatch isn't just a story anymore. It's a mystery that's waiting to be solved. But we can't do it alone. Share this video, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments. What do you think they've found here? Is this proof, or is it just another trick? A search for Sasquatch in the Rocky Mountains and Pacific Northwest. Bigfoot is on the verge of discovery. Subscribe for weekly updates of Bigfoot sightings across these regions. In the Yukon, a chilling Bigfoot encounter was reported by Ernie McGregor, a 30-year resident and prospector.
Ernie McGregor, a 30-year resident of the Yukon, liked to prospect and gold mine with his family.
In 2009, Ernie and his wife Kim were on a gold prospecting trip in a remote area northeast of Haines Junction.
On one prospecting trip with his wife in 2009 in a remote area northeast of Haines Junction,
they parked their truck and ATVs and settled into their tent for the night.
On the night of the encounter, around 10 p.m., they retired to the tent for the night.
Around 10 p.m., they retired for the night. Being summertime, it remained light until late. Around 1 a.m., they were awakened by a loud hooting sound followed by a deep, resonant bellow. The noise was alarmingly close, only about 100 yards from their tent. These eerie vocalizations continued for hours, coming from two different directions, suggesting they were surrounded. Suddenly, the sounds grew closer.
The sound was alarmingly close, around 100 yards from their tent. This lasted off and on for several hours,
and they began to hear popping or clapping noises. Fearful, Ernie exited the tent and fired warning shots into the darkness. The noises stopped, and whatever was out there retreated.
Ernie got out of the tent and fired some warning shots trying to scare them away, and it did.
Convinced they had been terrorized by a pair of Sasquatch, the couple hiked back to their truck the next day. Along the way, Ernie saw a large black figure moving from tree to tree, seemingly keeping pace with them. In 2015, Ernie returned to the area alone for a multi-day prospecting trip. When he returned to camp one evening, he found it completely destroyed. A powerful stench filled the air, a mix of wet dog, rotting flesh, and something unrecognizable.
In 2015, when Ernie was out prospecting alone for 4 or 5 days, on one of the days when he returned to camp, it was completely destroyed.
Shaken, Ernie quickly packed his belongings onto his ATV and left. These encounters permanently changed his life. He no longer enjoys camping as he once did, and is hyper-aware of every sound in the wilderness. The creature that stared him down looked anything but friendly.
These 2 encounters have permanently changed Ernie's life. He doesn't enjoy camping like he used to, and when he's out there, he wakes up.
Russell shares a terrifying encounter from 1992, when his parents lived in a remote cottage a mile outside Mayo, Yukon.
In 1992, my father and mother were very poor. We lived in a cottage a mile away from the small city of Mayo in Yukon, Canada.
His father worked tirelessly to save money so they could eventually move to a better place. Their only protection was their loyal German shepherd, Barney. One fateful night,
It was evening and was snowstorming. My mom was in the living room with me sleeping in her arms.
a monstrous roar echoed outside their home, waking Russell's mother and making baby Russell cry. His mother asked his father what it was, but he remained silent, grabbing a shotgun and instructing her to hide in the wardrobe with their baby. Through the window, he saw a massive creature staring directly at their home. But there wasn't just one. 2 more figures lurked nearby, watching. One was jet black like the first, but the third was even larger, determined to confront whatever was outside.
Human-like tracks. He measured one to be 53 to 55 centimeters.
Russell's father stepped out, shotgun in hand. He discovered 3 distinct sets of human-like tracks, one measuring 53 to 55 cm, another 60 cm. On the largest, over 70 cm. Following the tracks in the direction Barney had run, he made a devastating discovery. Barney's lifeless body, his head crushed. Judging by the damage, these creatures had easily overpowered the large German shepherd. Heartbroken, Russell's father buried Barney in their yard. 2 weeks later,
2 weeks after this event, my dad got enough money for us to move to the city of Whitehorse and buy a house there. We moved and lived there to this day.
he had saved enough money to move his family to Whitehorse, far from the terror they had endured. Later, Russell's father reflected on what he had seen. The largest creature, covered in white fur, appeared old and slightly hunchbacked. He believed it might have been injured or suffering from age issues, as its tracks suggested it had been dragging one of its legs.
The big one may have had an old age-related physical disability or was injured and so was dragging its leg.
The Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, RMSO, speculated that this could have been a sign of an aging Sasquatch with physical limitations. Regardless, the encounter left a permanent mark on Russell's family. These Yukon Bigfoot encounters continue to fuel speculation and belief in the existence of Sasquatch. Have you ever had a Bigfoot encounter or know someone who has? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Keep watching. We're going to keep on squatching. Venturing deep into the unknown, Mo Sargi and his crew embark on a chilling journey into the wilderness in search of the elusive Bigfoot.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another adventure camping video in the middle of nowhere in the wilderness.
Armed with night vision binoculars and an insatiable curiosity, they traverse through the eerie, snow-covered forest. But little do they know, they are not alone. Bigfoot sightings have always been shrouded in mystery.
Today, me and my friend Chris and Angelo, we're really off-grid right now. We are here to investigate another Bigfoot sighting.
But this time, Mo Sargi, along with Chris and Angelo, are on a mission to capture definitive proof. From strange noises in the distance to to something lurking just beyond the trees, their adventure quickly escalates into something far more terrifying than they expected. The crew sets off into the thick of the wilderness, following reports of recent Bigfoot activity.
We're about to start hitting some trails, locations where Bigfoot has been spotted. I'm hoping we get to find something because I would love it. The last time we were here, we heard some weird noises.
Their last visit to this location yielded eerie noises, but this time, they're determined to find more. As they hit the rugged trails, the excitement and tension build. What awaits them deeper in the woods?
Footsteps. That's like the most important clue. What did you think you found?
I see blood.
Blood. I literally saw that. I'm like, oh, that's a leaf. Somehow he saw blood.
As they reach a known hotspot for Bigfoot sightings, Mo and the team stumble upon a potential clue. "What did you think you found?" Chris asks. Mo swears he saw something. Blood, maybe? But upon closer inspection, it turns out to be just a leaf. Or was it?
So we're going to keep our eyes open for trails, tracks, some hair, some trees that have been disturbed.
The group presses on, keeping their eyes peeled for any signs of the unknown.
Yo, look at this. We got some scratches on the tree, or big gashes actually. But this could be from anybody. Some people say Bigfoot leaves marks.
The team navigates deeper into the forest, analyzing signs of disturbed wildlife. Tracks, broken tree branches, and even large gashes on the trees suggest that something big has been through here. Suddenly, a discovery stops them in their tracks. Deep claw marks in the bark. "Yo, look at this," Mo exclaims. Whatever made these marks was massive.
Oh.
What was that?
I don't know, but that was scary. I doubt my mic picked up on that.
Then, the eerie silence is broken. A strange, low moaning sound echoes from the distance. "What the hell was that?" Mo whispers, his breath visible in the freezing air. The team stands frozen, straining to hear it again. Was it the wind? Or something lurking just beyond their sight?
Look at these tracks over here. What the hell is this? Something big was laying here. What? Dude.
Further in, another strange find. A large, melted patch in the snow, surrounded by animal tracks.
So that's so weird. Look, something was sleeping here, and it melted the snow a little bit, and it hardened. Well, whatever it was here.
Something was sleeping here, Mo notes. The indentation suggests something heavy had been lying there for a long time. Could this be where Bigfoot had rested before vanishing into the darkness?
What?
Something big laid down underneath that tree.
Where?
Right straight ahead.
Oh, down that way. You're right.
Angelo points towards a massive, disturbed area under a tree. "Something big laid down there," he says. The team scans the surroundings, spotting more evidence of a large presence. The snow around the spot looks unnaturally compressed, as if something had settled there overnight.
I was looking up, like right down there, right?
There?
Yeah, between the two trees.
Like, no joke, Gordon. I literally thought I saw.
So did I.
Then, things take a terrifying turn. Between the two trees ahead, Mo and Chris simultaneously see something move. "No joke, I literally thought I saw," Mo stammers, his voice filled with disbelief. Angelo shines his flashlight into the darkness, but whatever it was, it's already gone.
Is it black?
Nah, where the hell did it go? I swear to God, I seen something.
Is it black? Where the hell did it go?
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
A sudden deafening crash shatters the tense atmosphere. Something just got thrown. "Holy, that was big," Mo yells as panic sets in. The team spins around, desperately trying to locate the source of the noise.
Yo, you know what that felt like? It felt like something just told us to get the fuck out of here. Like something just kicked us on out of there.
"Something just told us to get the out of here," Chris mutters, his voice laced with urgency. Whatever it was, it wanted them gone.
Oh my God, that scared the crap out of me. I literally thought something was about to attack me.
The group picks up the pace, but the strange sounds don't stop. Heavy movements, something massive crunching through the snow. That scared the crap out of me, Mo admits, still catching his breath. The team is no longer just investigating, they are being watched.
What the fuck is that? What is that? Oh! What is that? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! We actually just got that!
Then, the moment of truth. Through the night vision binoculars, Mo spots something. What is that? Oh my god, he exclaims. A dark, towering figure stands in the distance.
What is that? I don't know, I saw something. I actually got it. Yeah.
Angelo and Chris scramble to confirm. We actually just got that on camera. It's there, it's real, and just like that, it vanishes into the darkness. Mo and his team came looking for evidence, and they may have found it. Strange noises, massive tracks, something watching them from the shadows. Was it Bigfoot? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, next time you hear something strange in the woods, you might not be alone. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Have you ever experienced anything unexplainable in the wild? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more terrifying adventures. In a daring expedition into the wild, an elite team of Sasquatch specialists ventures into a treacherous glacier-covered region, determined to uncover the truth about the elusive Bigfoot. With advanced equipment and years of expertise, they track a mysterious figure spotted on a ridge, pushing through dangerous terrain, icy caverns, and harsh weather conditions. As the team scans the icy landscape, something catches their eye. A dark figure briefly appearing on a distant ridge before vanishing behind the horizon. The sighting is brief, almost too quick to be real, but one of the team members is certain they saw movement.
You didn't see it?
No, what was it?
It was some kind of a figure over there on the ridge. Just kind of dropping over the horizon. I don't know what that was on that ridge line, but I swear I saw something.
You didn't see it? One member asks in disbelief. No, what was it? Another replies. The figure seemed to drop over the ridge just as their drone had previously captured a similar sighting in the same area. The gut feeling among the team is undeniable. Something is out there, moving across the frozen expanse, watching them from a distance. And then it happens again.
Fixed-wing drone.
Oh my God, it's moving.
What would be up there?
I have no idea. What did it look like to you?
It looked like something standing, and then it just like ducked down.
Oh my God, it's moving. What would be up there? One of them questions, but no one has an answer. The location is too remote for a human to be wandering alone, and the conditions are too extreme for most wildlife. The unsettling realization sets in. They may have just witnessed something extraordinary. Determined to gather more evidence, team members Ronnie and Bryce set out to track whatever left behind a brutal kill the previous night.
Ronnie and I are trying to just track whatever made that last night. Haven't had much luck.
Whatever that was enormous, and it had the ability to rip something apart.
The scene is gruesome. Something with immense strength tore apart its prey with ease, but tracking it proves difficult. We haven't had much luck, Ronnie admits, scanning the ground for fresh tracks. Whatever was responsible wasn't just big, it was strong enough to rip an animal apart without leaving behind clear tracks. It's almost as if the creature picked up and vanished into thin air. Just as frustration sets in, Bryce calls over to Ronnie. Hey Ronnie, you got something? Ronnie rushes over as Bryce gestures toward the ground. Come check this out, want to get your take, he says, pointing to something unusual.
Hey Bryce.
Hey Ronnie, you got something?
Yeah, come check this out. I want to get your take.
What's going on, man?
All right, so this caught my eye. I noticed that there's a little game trail kind of coming up, a nice opening that goes right to the water.
Yeah?
What they found could be a critical piece of evidence, but they need a closer look to confirm their suspicions. As they examine the discovery, they notice something strange. Deep claw marks embedded high up in a tree, about 8 feet off the ground. At first glance, it looks like a bear's doing, but something about it doesn't add up. Is that a claw mark? One of them asks.
Is that a claw mark?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
That's what it looks like, another responds, eyes widening as they take in the size of the marks. Bears typically leave parallel claw marks when climbing, but these scratches are different. They don't match the patterns left by a bear or any known predator. Look how big that is. Dude, I can't be positive this is Bigfoot, but I'm pretty sure this isn't a bear, one team member states.
Look how big that looks, dude. I can't be positive that this is the mark of a Bigfoot, but I'm pretty sure that this isn't a bear.
If not a bear, then what? The mark suggests whatever left it was massive, strong, and capable of reaching heights that most known animals can't. Could it be a sign that Bigfoot had passed through this very spot? As the team ventures further into the glacier, they come across a massive ice cave carved into the frozen terrain. The structure is breathtaking yet ominous. Could this be a temporary shelter for something trying to stay hidden? Look at that. Wow, one team member says in awe.
Look at that.
Wow.
It's an ice cave. I mean, that could be a shelter.
Got that right.
The cave is deep and narrow, its walls smooth from years of glacial movement. A shiver runs down their spines as they consider the possibility that Bigfoot, if real, this is where it could be hiding, another team member states.
If Bigfoot is here, this is where it could be hiding.
As they step deeper inside, the walls seem to close in. The passage gets tighter, forcing them to move cautiously. Be careful, one of them warns. The last thing they want is to get trapped in an unstable ice cave. Then, an unsettling realization strikes them. Something has moved through here recently. The shifting ice means the cave could have formed quickly, but
something must have come through here.
And an ice cave like this can form quickly and go on for miles.
could it have also served as a temporary refuge for something big? 3 weeks later, long after the team has packed up and left the field, they begin reviewing the massive amount of data they collected. Among their most promising findings is audio from sensitive omnidirectional microphones that Ronnie and Maria placed in the wilderness.
Do you remember those microphones that Ronnie and Maria placed? They were super sensitive omnidirectional microphones that are programmed to start recording whenever they pick up a sound. Now, we left them out there the entire time we were there. Needless to say, they picked up all kinds of sound.
Do you remember those microphones? One team member asks. The devices were programmed to record automatically whenever they detected a sound. Most of the audio contained natural noises, birds, small animals, and environmental sounds. But after hours of review, they uncover something that makes their hearts race. Take a listen to this.
You hear that?
I think that's a Bigfoot speaking.
A deep guttural vocalization echoes through the recording. It's unlike anything they've heard before. The sound is neither human nor animal, and the chilling realization sets in, this could be the voice of Bigfoot itself. You hear that? Someone asks, their voice tinged with disbelief. The sound is haunting, unexplainable. Could this finally be the proof they've been searching for? So what do you think? Is Bigfoot real, or is it still just a legend lurking in the shadows? Let us know in the comments. Deep in the frozen wilderness of Alaska, something stirs in the darkness.
I see a little bit of heat on a tree way over on the other side of that clearing. It's just like a spike. It's not like the whole side of a tree. Keep an eye on that area right there.
The team, armed with thermal cameras and years of expertise, pushes forward into the unknown, determined to capture the truth. For decades, reports of an elusive, towering figure have circulated. Shadowy movements in the trees, eerie sounds echoing through the night. Tonight, they may have come closer than ever before. As the team scans the landscape, the thermal camera picks up an unusual heat signature. It clings to a tree deep in the clearing, not large, but distinct. The temperature contrast is odd. Something had been there, and it left its mark. Silence settles over the group. They watch the area closely, scanning for any further movement, but the night remains, for now.
Did you hear that? That was right here beside us. Whoa. Ryan, there's something hot in the water. Just went by.
Then, a sudden rustle, a sound too close to ignore. Their eyes dart toward the water. The thermal scanner flashes, a shape gliding just beneath the surface. It moves with purpose, swift and deliberate. Could it be an animal? The team debates. But something feels off. Beavers, common in this region, usually slap the water as they dive, but this movement is different. It's quick, calculated. The team watches in stunned silence as the glowing figure disappears beneath the surface.
That was not the beaver. Let's go. No, that was... Just think about the sounds we've been hearing. It's like one slap at a time, right? That was continuous.
The unsettling noises continue, distant at first, then alarmingly close. This isn't the river. The sound is rhythmic, one impact at a time, deliberate, heavy.
That thing is definitely bipedal.
Then comes the realization. The movement isn't that of a four-legged animal. It's bipedal. 2 steps. A pause. Another 2 steps. It mirrors human-like movement, but heavier, larger. The team tries to pick up a clear thermal reading, but whatever is out there is just beyond their reach, staying hidden, staying 1 step ahead.
What in the heck? The thing was up in the tree. Something was up in that tree right there.
Then, the most chilling discovery yet, a massive heat trace, high up in the trees. The size and elevation make no sense. On a night this cold, heat fades fast, yet the signature is still visible, glowing bright against the freezing backdrop. Whatever had been there wasn't small, and it was just there. As they approach, the heat fades quickly, vanishing into the cold. The realization sets in, something massive had been watching them from above, and just as quickly as it appeared, it was gone.
This place is completely abandoned. It doesn't look like anything or anyone has come back here.
Determined to press on, the team heads toward a long-forgotten work site, a place few have dared to investigate. The air is eerily still, no tracks, no recent disturbances. Until now. Down by the river, where reports claim strange occurrences have taken place, the team searches for evidence. They scan for footprints, tracks, anything that might confirm the presence of something beyond explanation. The forest seems to hold its secrets tightly, but they know they are close.
Oh my God. Right here. Oh, it's gone. Just went into the trees.
Then, movement. A shadow darts through the trees, quick but unmistakable. The team scrambles, cameras locked in, but the figure is already slipping into the darkness. They chase, pushing through the undergrowth, but in seconds the forest reclaims its mystery. The team stands frozen, hearts pounding. Someone was right there, watching them, and now it's gone.
It was here, was standing right here. Are you seeing this? Look at that. Wow.
As they scan the ground, the thermal picks up an unusual imprint. The shape is irregular, distorted, but it resembles something unmistakable. Footprints. Large, deep impressions, spaced just far enough apart to suggest a massive stride. It's not definitive proof, but it's enough to send chills down their spines. Whatever was here wasn't just passing through, it was tracking them. The evidence is stacking up. Unexplained sounds, massive heat traces, a figure that moves like no known animal. The deeper they go, the more questions arise. Was this the closest they've ever been to proving Bigfoot's existence? Or is the creature always 1 step ahead, vanishing just before it can be caught? An explorer embarks on the journey of a lifetime, an expedition to uncover the truth behind the legendary Bigfoot. With each step into the dark and eerie forest, he can't shake the feeling that something is watching him. He's ready to face the unknown, determined to document the truth, but little does he know, he's about to get more than he bargained for. This isn't just any exploration. It's the Bigfoot, Sasquatch troop that's watching him now. It's an encounter like no other. He's about to face something far more dangerous than he ever expected. Got it. Here's a more suspenseful version with key dialogues integrated, keeping the tension high. The camcorder clicks on, and the creator immediately points it towards the dense fog outside. The air is thick with a sense of something lurking just beyond visibility. The unmistakable sounds of howling and eerie whooping can be heard in the distance. "I've been hearing this for hours now," he says, his voice filled with both uncertainty and intrigue. "It started late last night, and it hasn't stopped. What the hell is out there?" His camera zooms in on the trees, hoping to catch something on film. The rain drizzles down, but the atmosphere feels far heavier, like a storm isn't just in the sky, but in the woods as well. Something's wrong. Something's not right.
Okay, so today is April 25th, 2020, and I just ran down here with my camcorder because, as you can probably hear behind me, there's some audible howling and whooping noises that are going on, and it's been going on for a couple hours now. Probably around midnight or 1 o'clock last night, I started hearing these loud...
After hearing another burst of howling, he rushes to check his trail cameras. The camera's shaky movement reveals his unease. I haven't checked these in days with the weather, but his voice trails off as he approaches the first camera, his hands trembling slightly as he retrieves the SD card. He stares down at the trap area. The apples are gone, and... His eyes widen as he bends down, inspecting the ground. "Eggshells, what the hell?" he mutters, his breath quickening. There's a sudden noise in the trees, a crack that sends him jumping back. He grabs the SD card, not wanting to waste time, and hurries towards the second camera. "I need to get out of here. Something's out there."
And I'm going to check them real quick, and then I kind of just want to get out of here because I really don't know what we're dealing with right now. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the two SD cards. I just heard it again. I think it's coming from that direction over there where we have the other trail camera, and that's where the mountain is.
The air is thick with tension. As he pulls the second SD card from the trail cam, a low guttural growl echoes through the forest. His eyes widen in terror. "Did you hear that? That wasn't a bear, that wasn't a coyote." The growl ripples through the silence, deep and unsettling.
I think I heard a knock that time too. Okay, so I'm just gonna go. That was it again.
His hand shakes as he grabs the SD card. "I'm getting the hell out of here," he whispers, his heart pounding. "I'm not sticking around for whatever that was." He stumbles backward, glancing over his shoulder, feeling the weight of unseen eyes watching him. His headache intensifies, the fear and confusion clouding his mind.
And last night too, it was like howls and whoops. I was gonna come down then.
Back at his house, he examines the footage, but it only adds to the unease. The Rockwall cam footage was normal. Squirrels, some leaves, nothing crazy. He flips the SD card in his hand and holds up another. But this one is different. His voice trembles as he pulls up the images on screen, revealing a figure that shouldn't exist. What the hell is that? A dark humanoid shape emerges from the trees. It doesn't look human. The figure seems to blend into the surrounding brush, almost camouflaged. This isn't normal. This isn't just some animal. This is something else, he mutters, staring at the screen, frozen. Could it be Sasquatch? Is this proof? His pulse races as he stares into the unknown, unable to look away from the image.
I'm getting lightheaded. There could definitely be something up there in those mountains, just looking down. Okay, so I'm getting out of here.
The room is eerily quiet as he reflects on the morning's events. I shouldn't have gone down there without any protection. It was stupid, but I wasn't expecting whatever that was. He stares at the screen, his eyes narrowed in determination. Next time, I'm going prepared. He lifts a shotgun into view, its weight heavy in his hands. I don't know what's out there, but I'll find it, and I'll make sure I'm ready. He pauses, looking straight into the camera, a serious look in his eyes. I'm going back, and I'll get the footage I need to prove this thing is real. Floyd Squatch, I will find you. The camera slowly zooms in on his face as he speaks his final words with intense resolve. No matter what it takes, the suspense builds with every turn, the creator's fear palpable as he ventures deeper into the unknown. With each strange noise, each eerie encounter, the mystery only grows. Something in those woods is watching, and it might not be something he's prepared for. Will he uncover the truth, or will the truth uncover him first?
I think it was kind of foolish to just run down there this morning without exactly knowing what it was, especially going down there unarmed. So I guess the goal now is to get better footage of the creature that we call the Floyd Squatch.
Peter Kane Dog Training has been known for sharing unusual and sometimes controversial content, but this time he presents something truly astonishing: a juvenile Sasquatch frozen since 1953. He claims that this creature has been preserved using dry ice, with slabs underneath and granular dry ice on top. For those unfamiliar with dry ice, he advises looking it up.
Sort of looks like a Christ figure laying there. When my father shot the Bigfoot, September 23rd, 1953, he shot more than one.
According to Peter, his father shot the Bigfoot on September 23, 1953 D. However, this wasn't the only one. Multiple Sasquatch were involved in the encounter. When they began cutting up the larger ones, a juvenile suddenly appeared. It reacted in distress upon seeing its deceased parents and attempted to escape, but was shot in the back.
And when they were they started cutting the big ones up, this small one, this juvenile, appeared.
The male and female Bigfoot were simply too large to transport out of the swamp, so they were cut up for easier handling. However, the juvenile was different. It was smaller, yet still a massive creature, estimated at over 300 pounds. Initially, they planned to transport it whole, but when they went to retrieve the body, they discovered it was still alive. At that moment, they debated whether to keep it alive.
And when the juvenile saw that the mother and father were dead, the juvenile took off and they shot this one in the back.
Peter recounts that his father and his group even considered selling the creature to the St. Louis Zoo. However, the Sasquatch was not as lifeless as they believed. It had merely been stunned and later regained consciousness. The sheer size of the creature was intimidating, as it took 4 people just to move it. Its feet were distinct, with separated toes, and it had enormous hands. Peter describes how his father witnessed it behaving erratically before they ultimately euthanized it.
Now they continued cutting up the male and female Bigfoot because they couldn't get them out of the swamp. They were too big. This is a juvenile. It's like this would be a very large human.
Despite its injuries, the Sasquatch displayed remarkable resilience. Peter highlights its physical features, its hands, eyes, and other anatomical details that distinguish it from any known animal. He points out the creature's large testicles, reinforcing his belief that this was an entirely different species, far removed from any human or primate we currently recognize.
The girth on this animal, it's gigantic. It's over 300 pounds. It's a big animal. So they were cutting up the adults.
Peter recalls his father's concerns that the creature could come back to life. During the process of cutting up the larger Bigfoot, he noticed that their muscles twitched and their eyes occasionally opened. This led him to believe that the Sasquatch might have some kind of hibernation ability, making him anxious that the juvenile might not be fully dead.
And they were gonna transport this one whole. And when they went to go get it to put it in the boat, they noticed that it was still alive. So they were thinking, well, we'll try and keep it alive.
His father was not only worried about the Sasquatch reviving, but also about the possibility of someone discovering the juvenile's location. He feared that either the government or extraterrestrial beings would intervene and take the body away. Peter suggests that Bigfoot might not be of earthly origin, but rather an extraterrestrial species.
I know that my dad said that they had plans initially to talk to the St. Louis Zoo and sell it to the St. Louis Zoo.
To support his claims, Peter provides a close-up of the Sasquatch's eye and even showcases one of the guns used in the encounter. Though he isn't sure if this particular weapon was responsible for taking down the juvenile, he confirms that it was used to shoot at least one or two of the creatures.
But the beast that they thought was dead was just stunned, and it came back alive. You can't make judgments about my dad.
Peter then shifts to revealing more about the storage of the Sasquatch. He explains that it is kept in an underground bunker, one of many built by his father, who was a survivalist. The bunker is located somewhere in New York, though Peter refuses to disclose the exact location. He warns that no one will ever find it.
Look at that. If that creature was coming at you...
Deep within the untouched wilderness, where shadows stretch long and the silence is deafening, a team of independent researchers embarks on a relentless quest. Their goal? To uncover the truth behind one of the greatest mysteries known to man, the existence of Bigfoot. For years, whispers of a hidden species have echoed through the forests. Legends passed down by First Nations elders intertwine with modern scientific research, creating a tangled web of truth and speculation. But now, with the world watching, this group of researchers, led by the determined and unshaken Todd Standing, seeks definitive proof. Not just for the thrill of discovery, but for the protection of the creature that many claim to have seen, but few have truly understood. The hunt has drawn attention from across the globe. Scientists from as far away as China, seasoned wilderness experts, and even government officials have begun collaborating with this Sylvanic team. And yet, beyond the field studies and forensic analysis, one figure has stood out among all others. A being whose presence strikes fear into those who dare to enter his domain. His name is Kubota.
Good day, my name is Todd Standing. I got an awesome Sasquatch Sunday show for you today. I'm going to talk about something I've never talked about before.
The camera flickers to life, revealing the weary yet determined face of Todd Standing.
A Sasquatch that I filmed in video 8 that I've referred to as the devil Sasquatch at times because of, he just reminded me.
His voice is steady, but there's something beneath it, a tension, a weight carried by years of searching. I've never talked about this before, he says, not like this. He pauses, gathering his thoughts before continuing. There's a Sasquatch I captured on film, video 8, a creature so intense, so angry, that I've called him the devil Sasquatch. And believe me, there's a reason for that. As he speaks, the footage cuts to grainy images. A massive figure barely visible through the thick trees. Its face, partially obscured by darkness, reveals piercing eyes and a furrowed brow. There is no curiosity in its expression, only hostility. This one wasn't like the others. If you've ever seen Planet of the Apes, think of Koba.
Sasquatch. Of the troop of Sasquatch, I don't really talk about him and I don't mention him a lot because he's like the kind of, if you watched...
That's who he reminds me of. A warrior, a predator, a creature that does not want to be found.
The Planet of the Apes, Caesar, who's the lead a chimpanzee or leader of the apes, has his Kubota.
He searched for Sasquatch isn't just about setting up cameras and waiting. It's about survival, about stepping into the unknown, knowing full well that something might be watching from the shadows. For over 20 years, Todd has pushed further than most ever would. He's ventured deep into uncharted terrain, places where few humans have ever set foot. Trained by a Cree Nation's elder and a military sniper, he's learned the art of tracking, blending into the wilderness, and moving unseen. But despite all his preparation, despite years of experience, Nothing could prepare him for Kubota. I've encountered many Sasquatch, Todd admits, the weight of his words pressing into the silence.
For the past 10 years, I've been conducting expeditions, documenting chronicles, and interviewing people pertaining to the subject of Sasquatch.
But Kubota is different.
With over 20 years worth of hardcore backcountry expedition experience into the most remote regions, I've tracked and studied various North American species.
A still frame flashes across the screen. Kubota's face. It's a close-up, unlike anything ever captured before. His skin is leathery, marked by deep creases that speak of age and experience. His brow is thick and furrowed, his lips drawn into a subtle snarl. But it's his eyes that hold the most power. Cold, calculating, unforgiving. There's something about the way he moves, Todd says. The way he watches, the way he waits. Unlike the other Sasquatch, Kubota does not flee. He does not hide in fear. Instead, he stands his ground, his massive frame shifting subtly.
I've been able to see for the first time some complete segments of Todd Standing's filming of Sasquatch.
His presence an unspoken warning, and then in an instant, he disappears into the trees.
And I'm firmly convinced that he has filmed Sasquatches and that what he has portrayed in his documentary are indeed.
Every encounter with Kubota has been a test, a battle of wills. In video 8, the creature's impatience is unmistakable. His eyes dart, his rapid blinks betraying a restless energy.
Video 8, he's blinking really quickly. He doesn't look calm, does he? He's blinking really fast.
Unlike the calm, observant Sasquatch seen in other encounters, Kubota radiates something different. Anger.
He doesn't look calm whatsoever. I mean, he is angry at me. And every time I see Kubota, he just seems so pissed off at me. He's just like he wants to...
He doesn't look calm, does he? Todd murmurs. His voice is low, almost cautious, as if speaking too loudly might draw Kubota's attention once more. And then, after a moment of silence, he adds, "He hates me."
When it's just me and Kubota, if that ever happens, that was the only one time I felt like it was just only Kubota that day. For whatever reason, I felt that way.
The journey is far from over. The questions remain unanswered. Has Kubota been watching all along, waiting?
And so I left. I went out of there. I didn't go and substantiate that I had seen a younger Sasquatch.
Testing those who dare to enter his world, Todd exhales, his gaze steady as he turns back to the camera.
For those of you who aren't convinced and think the evidence is not enough, I don't even know what to tell you. You need to have a freaking look at the evidence because the evidence is overwhelming.
We've been getting more success since then. More evidence, more encounters. He leans in slightly, as if letting the audience in on a secret. But what happens next?
When you look at the evidence, even skeptically, and you see how much tremendous evidence there is to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the Sasquatch exists, which is why I'm doing the court cases.
That's what keeps me up at night. The screen fades to black, but the mystery lingers.
I don't have any reason to substantiate that. I haven't been getting more success since then, so I don't know. I'd love to hear your comments and talk, so Wednesday live show.
Somewhere, deep in the wilderness, Kubota waits.
Throwback Thursdays, this was my Sasquatch Sunday video. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned, we'll have more great stuff coming very soon.
For the first time in history, an elite team of investigators was on the verge of uncovering a mystery that had haunted the world for decades. Using an advanced data algorithm, they had analyzed over 50 years of Bigfoot sightings. Armed with state-of-the-art technology, they ventured deep into the unforgiving Oregon wilderness, determined to prove once and for all that Bigfoot was real. The plan was simple, but dangerous. Survivalist Russell Acord remained above the treetops, monitoring the area through the drone's thermal camera. Meanwhile, Ronnie LeBlanc and Dr. Maria Mayer had split up. Deep in the darkness, the forest had its own plans. A thick, suffocating silence settled in. No wind, no insects, no sounds at all. Then, out of nowhere, Maria's voice crackled through the radio. "Russ, I think something's watching me." And then, static. But because of the overwhelming feeling that she wasn't alone. A sudden snap of a branch sent a jolt of fear through her body. Massive shifting shape just beyond visibility. "Maria, I need you to move now," he said sharply. "Copy that," she whispered. Broke through the radio, tense and breathless. "Russell, I have multiple heat signatures. They're huge, and they're watching me." Russell's fingers flew over the controls, repositioning the drone for a better view, but the thick canopy blocked everything. "I can't see you from up here," he said. "What's going on?" A long pause, then, "I don't know. They're massive, and they're moving." Maria's voice shook slightly, erupted with noise. Heavy, deliberate movement circled them. Miria pressed her back against a tree, gripping the radio with shaking hands. "Ronnie, is that you?" she whispered. Was standing just a few yards ahead. A massive figure shifted in the darkness, barely visible through the thick brush. It wasn't moving toward her. It wasn't running away. It was watching. Then, a low, guttural sound rumbled through the forest. A deep, resonating growl, one that sent chills racing down her spine. She wasn't alone. Russell's hands were tight on the controls. He couldn't see her through the thick canopy. Then the thermal camera flickered. A heat signature. Then another. Then four. One by one, four massive figures turned upward, as if they knew they were being watched. And then, they disappeared. The team had come to find Bigfoot. But now, Bigfoot had found them. Whether you believe in the paranormal or not, one thing is clear: some things just can't be explained. Were these real encounters with the unknown, or is there a logical explanation waiting to be uncovered? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoy diving into the eerie and unexplained, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a deep dive into the mysterious.